Daniel was a cheerful child, but deep inside, he carried a heavy heart. He was often confused about his place in the world. Every evening, as the sun began to set, he would look out of his window and wonder, whose child am I gonna be tonight? Whose bed am I gonna sleep in tonight? Daniel lived with his aunt and uncle, who took him in after his parents passed away when he was very young. They were good people, but they had their own children, and sometimes Daniel felt like he was just a visitor in their home. When relatives came to visit, they would often say, "Oh, this is your brother's child," or, "This is your sister's child." Each time, Daniel felt a pang of sadness. He wished he could belong somewhere, truly. Every time relatives arrived, it seemed like Daniel had to change his name and his identity. He was known as the extra child, the one who didn't have a real place in the family. It hurt him deeply, but he tried to be brave. He would put on a smile and play with the other children, but inside, he felt lost. One rainy evening, as Daniel sat on the porch, he watched the raindrops race each other down the window. The storm outside mirrored the storm inside his heart. He didn't understand why he felt so alone. He wanted to be loved, to be seen as one of them, but every time relatives came to visit, he felt like he was just a shadow in their lives. "Whose child am I gonna be tonight?" he whispered to himself, tears streaming down his cheeks. That night, he went to bed feeling heavier than ever, wishing for a family that would embrace him wholly. As Daniel grew older, his situation didn't change much. The feelings of loneliness and confusion lingered. He tried to be the best nephew he could be, hoping that one day he would feel like part of the family. There were times when he would overhear his relatives speaking about him. They would say things like, "He's such a good boy, but he just doesn't fit in." Those words stung more than he could express. Daniel found refuge in school. He was a bright student and loved learning. School was a place where he could escape the confusion of his home life. His teachers noticed his potential and encouraged him. They became his guiding lights, showing him that he was capable of great things. One day, his teacher, Mrs. Thompson, noticed him looking particularly sad. She approached him after class and asked, "Daniel, is everything all right?" He hesitated but eventually shared his feelings. "I feel like I don't belong anywhere. I just want to be loved for who I am," he confessed. Mrs. Thompson smiled gently. "You are loved, Daniel. Love comes in many forms. Sometimes, it may not look like what we expect, but it is there. You have a bright future ahead of you, and you will find your way." Her words stuck with him. He began to understand that love could be found in unexpected places. He started volunteering at a local shelter, helping other children who were facing their own struggles. It was there that he discovered a new sense of purpose. He realized that even though he felt lost, he could make a difference in the lives of others. Years passed, and Daniel worked hard in school. He studied diligently, often staying up late to complete his assignments. When he graduated high school, he received a scholarship to attend college. His heart swelled with pride. For the first time, he felt like he was moving toward a future that was his own. In college, he met other students who had faced similar challenges. They became his friends and supported each other. Daniel started to share his story, and in doing so, he found healing. The more he spoke about his experiences, the more he realized that he was not alone. Many people had walked similar paths, and together, they could lift each other up. One evening, during a particularly difficult time in his life, Daniel sat alone in his dorm room, feeling overwhelmed. He closed his eyes and prayed, "God, I feel lost. I don't know where I belong. Please help me find my place in this world." In that moment of surrender, he felt a warmth wash over him. It was as if God was saying, "You are my child, Daniel. You are loved and cherished." Tears filled his eyes as he felt a sense of peace. He realized that despite the hardships, he had a heavenly Father who loved him deeply. After completing his education, Daniel found a good job and began to build a life for himself. He worked hard and saved money, always remembering the struggles he had faced. He wanted to ensure that no child would ever feel as lost as he once did. Daniel decided to start a foundation aimed at helping children in need. He wanted to provide them with love, support, and opportunities that he had wished for as a child. The foundation would offer scholarships, mentorship programs, and support systems for children who felt alone in the world. As he launched the foundation, he was filled with joy. He could see how far he had come and how God had intervened in his life. The child who once wondered whose bed he would sleep in had now become a beacon of hope for others. The foundation grew, and with it, Daniel's influence. He became a speaker, sharing his story and inspiring others to help children in need. He often reminded people that every child needs love and support, and that the world had become so busy that we sometimes forget to care for the little ones. Daniel's story touched many hearts. He often received letters from children and families expressing their gratitude for the support they received. Each letter reminded him of why he started the foundation in the first place. One day, while visiting a local shelter, Daniel met a young girl named Lily. She was shy and withdrawn, much like he had been at her age. As he spoke to her, he saw the same pain in her eyes that he had once felt. He knelt down beside her and said, "You are not alone, Lily. I understand how you feel. I've been where you are, but I want you to know that you are loved." Lily looked up at him with wide eyes. "Really?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, really. You are special, and you matter. God has a plan for you, just like he had for me," Daniel assured her. As their conversation continued, Daniel felt a surge of hope. He knew that by sharing his journey, he could help Lily find her own path. He promised to support her through the foundation, offering her the opportunities she deserved. The years went by, and Daniel's foundation flourished. He saw countless children grow, thrive, and achieve their dreams. He often reflected on his journey, the pain, the confusion, and the eventual healing. He had transformed his struggles into a source of strength, and he was determined to ensure that no child would feel lost in the world again. One evening, as Daniel sat on his porch, watching the sunset, he felt a deep sense of gratitude. He thought back to the question that had haunted him for so long: whose child am I gonna be tonight? He smiled, knowing the answer now. I am a child of God. He embraced his identity fully, realizing that love comes in many forms, but it always finds a way to reach us when we need it most. Through Daniel's journey, he learned that every child needs love, and he dedicated his life to making sure that love was available to those who needed it most. In doing so, he discovered that the true power of God shines through acts of kindness, compassion, and the willingness to help one another. And so, Daniel's story became a testament to the fact that no matter how lost we may feel, God is always there to guide us, offering mercy, grace, and favor.